Good morning. Colleen and Heidi are on the line with me. Some other people might be joining, and then several people are going to watch this later, so I am recording. I'm Laura, for those of you who know me and some of you who've never met me. We're here to talk about what's happening with Ageless Grace in Colorado. And in my 5+ years of doing Ageless Grace, I actually got trained in the first several trainings that Denise Medved did around the country. I've never seen so much momentum and many things changing and growing and opportunities with Ageless Grace as I'm seeing right now, to the extent of I need more educators to do things. I really need to ramp up what's available with Ageless Grace here in Colorado. I've kind of gotten into a critical mass. Now I need more people on the team. Not that I haven't had people on the team. There have been several people who are very much proponents of Ageless Grace. What I haven't had is a team of educators who are saying, I'm having a class, and who've been willing to make that happen. I can do so much. I can't manage your schedule. I can't manage everybody's schedule and all the communications between different organizations and so forth who express interest to make it all happen. And particularly to make the finances happen. So I'm going to give you some ideas and ways to make that happen. And then I'm just going to tell you it's going to be up to your legwork, your initiative, and your drive and determination to really make it happen. So the first thing I want to say is, in terms of knowing what's happening with Ageless Grace in general, and honestly getting a lot of ideas and being able to interact with other people who are teaching as educators and other trainers besides myself. Get on Ageless Grace Educators Worldwide on Facebook. Heidi, it is a closed group, and since you're not an educator yet, that's not available to you, but it will be as soon as you've taken the training.
Okay.
Okay. That's where, if you have a question, if you say, I'm stuck with power tools, I have no more ideas, and my class is bored, you'll get 30 people saying, try this, try that. My class loved this. My class loved that. I find it to be a pretty good and growing community in which people are volunteering ideas. And some of the ideas are hilarious, which I love because I like to have humor in all of my classes. And some of the ideas are just like, oh, how sweet and how loving and how nurturing. Like, you get everything. So one of the coolest things about Ageless Grace is there's so much room for creativity and spontaneity that I find that to be a really supportive resource. And Colleen, I know you're not a big fan of social media. Get on Facebook just for that one. I'm just going to tell you to do it.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out another way.
So in terms of what's happening on a national, international level, make sure you have access to Denise's TED Talk. I have found her TED Talk to be, and Heidi, I believe I sent that to you. I found her TED Talk to be the singular most effective way to publicize classes and trainings and to open up conversations. The second piece is on the homepage of Ageless. So the TED Talk is about 12 minutes. The homepage on Ageless Grace has also a nice video that's about 6 minutes. I usually send both at the same time. There are a few other cool videos. If you go to just on YouTube and Google Denise Medved, one of the primary objections that I get, especially in this Colorado Boulder community that's more fit than most of the rest of the country, I don't need to do something in a chair. I'm not there yet. There's a good video on YouTube by Denise that says, why do we do Ageless Grace in a chair? And it's spot on, talking about rewiring the brain with neuroplasticity, challenging the brain to learn to do something in a different way that builds neural pathways. Also supporting and exercising the core of the body differently and more effectively than many types of exercise that we're used to doing standing up. So interestingly, I was doing a demo last week at Boulder Housing Partners, and this woman said, this works my core more than the exercises on the elliptical because we're sitting in a chair. And I said, oh, you're a genius. She got it. She got it. It was really great. So that is getting to be more present in this market. I will tell you, when I first started talking about Ageless Grace and proposing it to places, there was a lot of resistance because it's seated. So for yourself, go look at that video, and to know what to send to people if there's that version of an objection. In my last email to Boulder Housing Partners, I sent all three of those. I sent the TEDx talk, I sent the homepage of Ageless Grace, and I sent that little video link to the YouTube video with Denise talking about why do we do it in a chair. Okay, the next thing is kind of on the horizon is Denise. So do you all know who, do you both know who or I'm talking about when I say Denise?
Yes.
Okay, Heidi, do you?
Yeah, from the video, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So Denise Medved's the creator and founder of Ageless Grace. In my world, she's a genius. The creativity and science that's in Ageless Grace is beyond any program I've seen yet, and I've looked at a lot of them for the aging population. She's also the sweetest, kindest, most nurturing and supportive, and really on a really cool mission in life of anyone I've ever met. So that's a side note, I suppose, but I like to know that about the people who are leading an organization that I believe in. She's been asked to be one of the first bloggers on a website called Dynamic Aging. So you might look up that. That information was also put on Ageless Grace Educators Worldwide. That's a pretty cool thing to be asked to do that. So we're excited about that. Everything of those of a large nature like that happens creates the opportunity to send people to our classes, your classes, my classes, wherever. The other thing that's been happening and brewing and cultivating over the last couple of years is a relationship with the Functional Aging Institute. The Functional Aging Institute is an educational, I think it's for-profit, but I'm not quite sure, company that is creating programs to train people to work with elders. So it's 2 PhD scientists. One of them is named Cody Sipe. He is an Ageless Grace educator. He took the training from Denise. He's doing research with Ageless Grace, creating the research so that it will be published and be then evidence-based. He's not the only one doing that. So I'm welcome to somebody who just signed in, I think. The call is being recorded, so you can go back and watch it. We're hoping to get through the call in the next 21 minutes and then have some time for questions. I'm talking about Denise Medved and our growing relationship with the Functional Aging Institute. So FAI does a program in June in Florida. And this past summer, Denise did an educator certification right before the conference kicked off. And then she was a keynote speaker at the conference. So as that builds and as that grows, I'm now getting requests to train people who were at that conference to be educators in Ageless Grace, which is great for me. What does it do for you? As that information gets out farther, as an educator, though, that kind of messaging will have people come into your classes, okay? So those are the big scale pieces of what's happening. Like I said earlier, I've been at this since 2011. I've been a trainer since, I think, sometime in 2012. That was at the very beginning. Ageless Grace was launched in 2011. So when I would say to someone, are you interested in Ageless Grace? They would say, what's that? They'd never heard of it before. As all of those other things build and get to be bigger in the general world, more people are saying, oh yes, I've heard about that, to me. So I've been doing this primarily by myself in terms of having people trained in this area in Boulder, geographical area. Yes, people are trained, most people who've taken the training haven't really created classes for people to come to. And I understand that. I'm now reaching out to people and saying, hey, now's the time, now's the moment to get on board or get back on board to teach Ageless Grace, because it's really needed. Next week is Fall Prevention Week in Colorado. In Boulder County for sure. I think it's all across the country, actually. I'm doing 3 talks that are primarily on feet, which I've taken from learning rock and rockettes and balancing act. And I've expanded that. So the 3rd or 4th year I've done talks in Boulder County for Fall Prevention Week. So now I'm talking 3 times next week. Each of those will include a fairly in-depth demo of Ageless Grace. And then I have no follow-on classes for any of those people to go to. Okay? Mm-hmm. Last week, I did a demo at Boulder Housing Partners. That is the primary low-cost housing program in Boulder. They loved it. They want Ageless Grace classes in their facility. They're working on finding money to provide those classes. I'm hopeful that those classes will start in January. It would be great if there could be 2 classes a week. I might be able to start them, but I need backups for when I travel, because I have trainings here, there, and everywhere starting to happen next year. And I also would prefer that I help get a class started and I hand it off to someone, so that you educators who are trained and want to teach classes can step into those spots. The other thing that happened, and Colleen actually, who's on the line, knows about this one, is Longmont Housing Authority, similar program. They have 11 sites in and around Longmont. We were supposed to do that demo later today. We hope it'll be rescheduled next week. They're very excited about the program and could potentially expand it into 11 sites. I don't have educators I can put in there. I need educators who can hit the ground running and ready to go. The third one is, and Heidi Barrowman's actually on this call by telephone. City of Lafayette Senior Services is excited about the program. I've created a partnership with the Alzheimer's Association in Boulder County. Ralph Patrick is phenomenal and great and very supportive and excited about Ageless Grace. He actually might take my training in October. And Heidi's taking it, and another person from Julie from Lafayette Senior Services. And we created this conversation around this possibility idea effort to create a dementia-friendly community, which is near and dear to my heart. And so 2 people from Lafayette Senior Center, that we're publicizing it to the early onset dementia group from the Alzheimer's, that's coordinated by the Alzheimer's Association. And we're also having the executive director for Juniper Village, which is 100% memory care in Louisville, is attending the training. Nice. She's also trying to get the executive director from Aurora Juniper Village in the training. So there's a lot that can happen there collaboratively. I'm really excited about it, that we could make a difference in this whole thing with people understanding dementia, people who have dementia getting some brain stimulation in the 5 functional areas of the brain every day is so exciting, so exciting. Part of the offer that we put out there is that if a paired set, an individual with an Alzheimer's or dementia diagnosis and their caregiver registers for the seminar, I will give them a set of the Ageless Grace deck of cards. I'll give them that set of flashcards. Still hoping for that to happen, hoping we fill that room for that seminar. And both are welcome to come to the seminar. They do have to register both. You both have to pay the $55. It'll make it beneficial for both. And really hoping we can get some of that happening for some of the people in our Alzheimer's and dementia community. Heidi, do you have anything more to say about that?
No, I don't. I'm just looking forward to it. And we've already got the flyers up posted everywhere here at the center. And then we're going to get them out to the rec center and the library, as well as Josephine Commons and Affinity. So just hoping that we can get a lot of people in here. And I think with our Silver Sneakers class, it'll come in handy too. So
yes. Excellent. So I actually recently had, so in terms of the classes that I'm teaching, I have an upcoming certification on October 21st and 22nd. It's at the Lafayette Senior Center both days. The group of people coming together right now is phenomenal. Heidi, who just spoke, Julie from the Senior Center, Ralph Patrick from Alzheimer's Association, maybe, Karen who's the executive director at Juniper, maybe her peer from Juniper Aurora. I'm also in conversation with some aging fitness instructors from the Functional Aging Institute program in Orlando last summer who are interested in coming in from Omaha, Nebraska. So if you are interested in having some people you know into the program, inviting them into that space, anything I can do to help you do that, I will do. I recently had an independent class going that was thriving and doing really great. And it had been going for a year and a half. And it was canceled because the studio where I was teaching closed. So I have a group of people who love Ageless Grace and have been coming together every week for a year and a half. We're now hanging out there looking for a place to have a class. I did find a location, but it would require driving into downtown and parking. It takes them, a lot longer to get there, a lot longer to get home. I decided to put that on hold, awaiting a couple other things, hoping Boulder Housing Partners gets their thing together, and honestly, to have other educators step up and say, yeah, I'd like to teach a class, and we'll go out and find a location. And the location area geographically would be southeast Boulder. All that class, that was an awkward segue to that class was actually on Silver Sneakers Flex. So the people coming to that class were using their Silver Sneakers program. They were not having to pay to come into that class. And I was getting the revenue. It's not big revenue. I promise you it's not big revenue if it's only paid on Silver Sneakers and other people are not coming to the class. If non-Silver Sneakers people if you want to set up a class, it's easy enough to get set up on Silver Sneakers Flex. It does take some time and patience. You have to get insurance, and you have to get you have to go through a couple online trainings of theirs. You have to have a certain CPR, and you have to do a background check that you have to pay for like $18 or something. Something that's new is another insurance program. It's called Silver and Fit. And I actually had people come into my classes to say, well, I have Silver and Fit. Can you take that? I'm not currently set up to become a teacher educator on Silver and Fit, but Ageless Grace is an approved program on Silver and Fit. The reason I'm not set up on Silver and Fit is because when I became Silver Sneakers put into our contracts that said you cannot teach both Silver Sneakers and Silver and Fit. What we do know is the two are mutually exclusive. And if an individual has Silver Sneakers on their insurance program, they are not going to also have Silver and Fit. So it's not double dipping. I'm not going to get paid for both individuals. It was still in our contracts, even though that was a very logical thing for people to understand. So Silver and Fit took Silver Sneakers to court, and Silver and Fit won. So now we can become both a Silver Sneakers instructor and a Silver and Fit instructor. So you can increase the number of people that you can be compensated for inside as an instructor. Does that make sense? As a flex instructor on Silver Sneakers and then also on Silver and Fit. You could have one class and get compensated for both types of people. That's great. I have a little bit of information about getting certified on Silver and Fit, not a lot, but I can help you find that if you want to do it. The next thing would be if you put together a class where you have both of those, and then a person comes in and says, I don't have either. How do you deal with that? Ask them to make a donation or ask them to pay $5, whatever seems reasonable to you. And then where are you going to hold that? You can have it at a studio, at a private studio. You can have it at a bank community room, an apartment complex community room, a church classroom type of place. I found a lovely place in downtown Boulder where we could set up a class if anybody wants to go teach in downtown Boulder. I think it could be viable. It's just that the group that I was targeting that for wants something on the Southeast and was kind of like, oh, I might come, I might not come. I will tell you that in Florida, in Miami, before the hurricane, there is an educator there who has set up a class, Silver Sneakers and Silver and Fit, and taking donations, and she's making over $200 per class teaching Ageless Grace. So there is a carrot as a motivator if you're needing to make some money. I have not created that kind of revenue here in Boulder. We'll see. I'm still open to the opportunity. But she is, week after week, making $200+ teaching Ageless Grace. Oh my. I just heard a siren coming in on someone else's thing. The last thing I want to mention is I'm actually working with another organization in addition to Ageless Grace, and it is a balance and fall prevention program that's also based on neuroplasticity. They actually use the dual plasticity model, and I'm very excited about it. It's very cool. And the way I became associated with them is that I was introduced to them and they said, hey, this is really cool. So I've designed a study in which we use technology, basically an iPhone or an iPad, to assess balance. It gives you a balance score. And then you do a series of exercises. And in this case, what I want to do is have people agree to and commit to doing Ageless Grace every day for at least 21 days, which is what we recommend. And then we retest their balance score. And hopefully, through our exercise program, we have an improved balance score. And that gives us evidence base, which if you get too far down the road in terms of trying to get money or grants to teach Ageless Grace, people are going to say, well, is it evidence-based? A lot of people, including myself, are working really hard to get that to happen. And this could provide that. I've written a program. I'm looking for money to sponsor this program. I'm trying to get a grant for $10,000 to $15,000 so that I can set it up and pay educators to teach Ageless Grace classes so that in Boulder proper and outlying, like this would go as far out as Lafayette. If we get people from that community, Heidi, who are interested, Lafayette, Louisville, maybe Longmont, I'm not sure. Depends on where people come from. Hello?
I'm here.
Okay.
Sorry.
So there was some background noise.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is have a number of Ageless Grace educators willing to teach classes. You would get paid. I think I have in $30 or $35 per class to teach these classes for this study. I haven't found the money yet. I can't guarantee when and where those classes are going to be. Excuse me. Obviously, we would work with your schedule to set them up. That's on the horizon. I need educators who are certified, creative, fun, spontaneous, professional, arrive on time, ready to go, look great, laugh a lot to teach those programs. and prove out, because we will have the metric provided with this technology piece, we will have the metric to say, Ageless Grace helps you with fall prevention. Ageless Grace improves your balance. Ageless Grace improves your response time. So that's what I have going on in this area. I welcome people to be on my team. I want people to be on my team. I'm working at getting a recertification set up for either October 7th or 14th. The recertification process is now a 4-hour program led by a trainer. $50, register online at Ageless Grace. You already know the routine to get that done. If you have any feedback about what day works best for you, Heidi, you're not in this category yet, but you will be a year from now.
Okay.
To make sure I keep people certified is a good thing. I've done one recertification before, and it was a blast. It was so much fun. Here's what's cool about a recertification. Whoever's been practicing Ageless Grace and teaching Ageless Grace brings in so many cool ideas. So the reason it's different than teaching a seminar, we want to get people familiar with Ageless Grace. We want people to feel comfortable beginning to practice Ageless Grace and continuing. With the recertification, we go through all the tools, but a little bit more quickly, a lot more quickly, let's just tell the truth, so that we have more time to share ideas and go through marketing ideas and how to set up Silver and Fit and silver sneakers and where to go and all of those questions that come up when you're in the next step of how do we make Ageless Grace grow. The next thing I want to say is in this market that we're in, I mentioned earlier, it's been a little bit of a challenge. And one of the things has been, I'm too fit, I don't need to sit in a chair. Another thing has been Ageless Grace. In terms of this market, now I actually love the name Ageless Grace. I think it's sweet and great. And in Denise's area in North Carolina where she lives, all she has to do is say, I'm teaching a class on Ageless Grace. And people say, oh, sign me up, I want to go. People here are like,
What?
give me some boom, hit, Tabata, extra strength, boot camp, power, stretch. You know, they want something a little bit more heavy hitting. So if you're putting together flyers, and I'm working with Denise, and I've seen starting to emerge, some things that say Ageless Grace Brain Health Program or Brain Fitness Program. Mm-hmm. We have permission to use that. We still need to be careful of trademarking and copywriting, all that stuff. But yes, we do have permission to use that. So if you have a flyer, you put together something a little bit more original and to your taste, just run it by me and or Denise first before you send it too far afoot. But we are beginning to use that a lot more. In fact, on Ageless Grace, used to be online, Ageless Grace LLC. It's open to anyone and everyone, not just educators. They just changed it to Ageless Grace Brain Health Program, I think is what it is. So that's a good move. That means we're shifting in the right direction in terms of branding and marketing that can work for us in this market. So I'm really excited about that. That's all I have to say. I'm going to open it up for questions. Andrew, I did see I'm not real good at this. 7th in the afternoon works for you for recertification. I'll see if I can make that happen and what other feedback I get. Anything else from anybody? Questions, thoughts, feedback?
Yeah, I want to. Oh, sorry. I'd love to be able to do that. I'd love to be able to do that recertification, and we're getting back from out of town on the 7th. I don't have the flight time in front of me because we've got a whole. I'm afraid I'll cut you off if I go to look for it in my computer here.
Gotcha. Okay.
What time of day do you think you'd be doing that? Any idea?
I was going to do morning, but Andrew said afternoon, so possibly in the afternoon.
Okay, or I'm open on the 14th as well. So I'm writing a note to check that as soon as I'm done, and I'll email you or text you.
Okay, excellent. Okay, Heidi, I'm going to send out to Colleen and to Andrew, and maybe I already have. I can't quite remember. I'm almost to the point of needing to hire an assistant. The flyers that we made 2 flyers for the upcoming certification. If you know of anybody, run across anybody who might want to take either the seminar so that they can do Ageless Grace for themselves at home, or the Ageless Grace certification, pass it along, talk it up, help me out here. The more we get Ageless Grace out in the community, the more the classes are going to fill up. We have to, the theories around communication and marketing, people have to hear something at least 3 different times from 3 different sources before it'll stick. So the first time I said Ageless Grace in the community in 2011, how many people heard it? We have had some publicity. We have had some things happen. We are getting it out there, and it's beginning to snowball the way you want it to do as a conversation in the community. So if you can help me, even if it's I'll just give this a shot and throw it out there. You never know what's going to come back. So if you can do that way, there's my plug. Anything else?
Yeah, well, so Julie and I are finalizing up our stuff for the brochure, and we're looking at when's the best time to hold the class, days and times. What are you finding out as the best time to hold the class?
That's the $100 question, Heidi. There's a group of people in Boulder who are like, let's do 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to do it first thing and get done. I wouldn't go earlier than 9. Unless you have a really active group of people who just wants to get it and get it done. Right before a Silver Sneakers program that is perhaps like classic, or I wouldn't do it before a yoga chair class, but perhaps trying to remember the other Silver Sneakers classes.
The circuit one, which is the circuit, it's like the Silver Sneakers 2.
Exactly.
Right above.
Right before Silver Sneakers 2, or a classic, or a boom, or a circuit class would be good. And we can create the conversation of get your brain health, get your body health. Okay. That Silver Sneakers is a brain stimulation program that will make your physical fitness more effective. And we work on playing with that. I wouldn't make anything later than 2 o'clock in the afternoon for the aging population in terms of asking them to do fitness. I just don't see it. There is a program that I'm familiar with over at the Carillon Independent and Assisted Living that they're being pretty successful with an 8:30 class, but it's a 15-minute class. You can do Ageless Grace in a 15-minute class. If you have a lunch program where you're having a lot of people come in and you want to say, hey, come 15 minutes early and do this with us before you have lunch, that's a good thing to do. Over at this independent living facility, they're doing 8:30 in the morning before breakfast, and they're doing 12 o'clock in the afternoon, which can fit either before an early lunch, before a late lunch, or after an did I say that right? After an early lunch, before a late lunch. It's right in between. And they're being successful with that. Okay. Anything else?
I wanted to mention, thank you for this presentation. It's nice to be back in the fold. And for Ageless Grace, you were talking about this possibility of finding a grant for this technology. This year in Chicago on November 10th and 11th, I'll be presenting at the National Caregiving Conference, and I'm on the technology panel. and I would be very interested to talk more about this. And there might be opportunity. As far as I know, no one from Ageless Grace has wanted to have an exhibit or a booth at the conference, and I think this would be a great opportunity to present Ageless Grace and this technology opportunity that we're looking to support this evidence-based model with.
Andrew, what is the technology that you're talking about?
The technology that I'm going to be specifically talking about for me is using adaptive equipment. So creating your own lifts at home. How do you make a lift? How do you use motors? How do you learn to solder and wire to help your loved one transfer up and down throughout the house? How do you create a dog alarm, for example, with just under $30 to teach your dog how to click it in case of an emergency if you're not there with your loved one. So that's the kind of technology I'm approaching. Other people on the panel are going to be approaching different types of technologies. But the way you introduce this topic as an evidence-based model using this technology to examine an individual's balance, that's what we're looking at. That's very important to highlight and accentuate.
Did you talk to anyone about Ageless Grace relative to this conference?
To this conference? No, not specifically. Not for the presentations that I'm going to be giving on this. But I can't say I'm 100% the only person who's involved with Ageless Grace on there. All I know is in discussions, I'm the only one that's brought it up. So there's over 40 different presenters and panelists for the 2-day conference in Chicago. And I can get you more information, but that's just caregiving.com and see what's on there. And we can get the ball rolling on that. And then we can talk further what that looks like. But most of the conference will be streamed live. So if people are not able to attend in person, it can be streamed live. Ideally, either for next June or next November, having a specific program dedicated to Ageless Grace and caregiving sounds like something that should be produced and followed up with.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. That's awesome. Good for you.
Excellent, yeah.
Good for you. Okay, I think it's time to sign off. Unless anyone has anything else to say or wrap up or another question you want to throw out there, I'm around. I'm not traveling. I'm here for until early November, when I do have a little bit of travel already on the book. So Andrew, I'll see if those dates conflict. I'm like, that's the first time I'm traveling again. Hope to see you in recertification, and Heidi, definitely at the certification. I'm really excited, and thank you so much.
Yes, me too. Can't wait. And Colleen, I think I'll see you on Thursday.
You will see me on Thursday.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Yay!
Can't wait.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, Laura. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.